Welcome to Apostolic Life in the 21st Century, a podcast dedicated to helping modern-day believers live out the teachings of the first century church. This podcast is part of the teaching ministry of Dr. David K. Bernard. Dr. Bernard has dedicated his life to studying the Bible and helping believers apply its message to their daily lives. In Apostolic Life in the 21st Century, Dr. Bernard answers your questions about what the Bible teaches and how those teachings apply to everyday life. Thank you for joining us for this broadcast. The North American Church focuses quite a bit of attention on two specific religious holidays, Easter and Christmas. However, some apostolic believers, including many outside North America, view these celebrations in a very negative light. They are concerned about the pagan origins and overtones of those two specific holidays, as well as their connection to Catholicism, and they argue that Christians should not participate in Christmas and Easter celebrations. What does the Bible say about holidays, particularly Christmas and Easter? Should a Christian celebrate those holidays?
The Bible gives us clear direction in Romans chapter 14. So let me read a few verses here. I've got the New King James. Romans 14:5 says, one person esteems one day above another, another esteems every day alike. Let each be fully convinced in his own mind. And then verse 6, he who observes the day observes it to the Lord, and he who does not observe the day to the Lord, he does not observe it. Essentially, what we have here is the concept of Christian liberty. So basically, on any issues that are not moral, where the Bible doesn't give explicit teaching that it's sin or not sin, that means we as Christians have liberty to make personal choices. And if you read the entire chapter of Romans 14, it says we can have different choices, but we respect one another. So if someone decides to participate in a certain observance, we shouldn't ridicule them, we shouldn't judge them, we shouldn't condemn them. But if someone decides not to participate, likewise, we shouldn't ridicule, condemn, or judge them. Now, let's talk more specifically about Christmas and Easter. It is true that some aspects of these celebrations have pagan overtones. Of course, that's true of anything in life, or many things in life, I would say. For example, in English, we use the term Sunday. That was originally given to honor the sun god. Monday, the moon god. And so you go down through the week. Thursday honors Thor. Now, if I'm using those days to honor the sun, so if I say, let's meet on Sunday, and you understand me to say, let's worship the sun god, then that would be wrong of me. But if I'm just using that as a cultural expression, an English expression, and neither you nor I think I'm giving any honor to the sun, I'm just using the conventional names, then I haven't done anything morally wrong. And so I have liberty. Now, if I really feel bad and don't want to leave any wrong impression, don't want to give any credence to this, I could say, let's meet on the first day of the week. And that would be okay. In other words, I have a choice. It's not a matter of sin. It's not a matter of biblical prohibition or command. It's not a matter of evil. It's not a matter of morality. So I have a personal choice. That's how I look at things like Christmas and Easter. Now, some people say, we're celebrating paganism. If you're truly doing that, or if the people you're associated with truly think you're promoting idolatry, you're promoting pagan worship, then you shouldn't celebrate. But if you say, regardless of the connotations of secular people, or regardless of some of the origins, I'm not doing this for any pagan celebration. I'm not worshiping any idol, and I'm not encouraging anybody to worship idol. I have chosen this day to celebrate the Lord. Well, then you have transformed that meaning into something that is acceptable. So you have a personal choice. Now, you might say, well, I don't want to use the term Easter. I want to say Resurrection Sunday, or whatever you want to do. Now, I know in North America, many people are accustomed to going to church on or around those 2 days. So as a practical matter for a pastor, it's a great time to encourage people to come to church. And once they come to church, they get exposed to the apostolic faith, to Pentecostal worship, the move of the Spirit, and we might win them. So it can be a great evangelistic tool. I think it is a good thing to do. Now, in some heavily Catholic countries like Latin America, some of these celebrations so closely associated with Roman Catholicism or with paganism that many Christians say, I don't want to have any part of that. Well, in that culture, that's understandable. So in summary, I think Romans 14 does give us the answer. If you feel like that participating in these events would associate you with paganism, where you would feel like you're honoring pagan gods, or you think your friends and family and the people you're trying to win the Lord will think you're actually supporting pagan worship, then by all means don't participate. But if you can celebrate the day unto the Lord with a true scriptural appreciation for the birth of Jesus, for the resurrection of Jesus, and you can use it for a wholesome purpose, then I think Scripture gives you that liberty. In short, I think local churches and individual believers can choose to celebrate the day as long as they do it unto the Lord, or they can choose not to do so. Now, let me give you one final thought. I grew up in Korea, where my parents were missionaries, and it was a predominantly non-Christian country. So Buddha's birthday was a holiday. Now, they did set aside time for Christmas because it's an international holiday. But for the church, that was a very important thing, because in a culture that was mostly Buddhist or ancestor worship or spirit worship, for them to have a special day to honor Jesus Christ was a great thing, because it told the whole nation that Jesus Christ was important. And so the churches there would always have church on Christmas. So for them, it wasn't a family celebration or it wasn't a personal holiday. It was actually a time to worship the Lord. And it was a great opportunity to bear witness in that non-Christian culture that Jesus Christ makes a difference. So in that case, it was a very positive thing to be able to celebrate Jesus Christ in that culture. In short, different people can have different answers, but we should not judge or condemn one another. We should do everything we do as unto the Lord.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Apostolic Life in the 21st Century. If you enjoy this podcast, please take a moment to give us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. We also appreciate it when you share Apostolic Life in the 21st Century with a friend or family member. Finally, join us again next time as we look at how the Bible applies to everyday life.